This is the first ever Touchcast.
Yep.
Welcome to Double Cross Anime. This is a miniature episode. We've started up another venture on another channel. We're discussing live action films.
Yep.
We're gonna keep talking about anime, of course. We're gonna do regular episodes on a every once in a while, and we're also gonna discuss classic series like Touch on a consistent basis and upload those little mini episodes on this channel. That's what we're thinking right now for the future.
Yep.
The changeover probably won't happen until like the start of next year.
Yep.
So we've still
And we
got lots of anime episodes coming up for the rest of 2021.
That's right. And we just spent 2 hours talking about a lot of good movies. So if you want to listen to them, just click on the link that Poopo will provide later on.
Well, I guess I will. Yeah. Now that you've said that. Yeah, it's just Google Triple Cross Cinema, or I'll put the link somewhere. I don't know anything about YouTube, so I don't think I know how to put it on screen or anything, but I can put it in the little description box.
Yep.
If I remember. I think
All
I
right.
will. But on this channel, we don't talk about anything 3D because that's gross.
Yeah.
We're all about cartoons here, so we're going to talk about Touch. We've already discussed the first 20 episodes, 5 at a time, like on the tail end of previous podcast episodes. But this one is just a Touch cast, episodes 21 to 25. And these are, I wouldn't say they're 5 of the most significant episodes in the whole show, but they certainly cover some of the most significant ground. Because
Yep.
if you haven't watched Touch, click off the video right now because I'm about to spoil some shit. These episodes are significant because...
Yep.
Why are they significant?
It's a game changer.
Yes.
All right.
Because
You do it.
Kazuya dies.
Yep. Oh God. It's
It's the moment that, having seen Cross Game, both of us understood was coming.
Yep.
Because Adachi never steps foot out of his house without a character's tragic death in his suitcase.
Yep.
That's his shit. And it figures that it is because he's really good at it.
Yep. How the anime handle that though? Just we will talk about that later on. Let's talk about what happened before that. So in episode 21 to 23, we have like Katsuya, on the in the prime of his his dream. He want to make the dream of going to the Kosen come true, and he played the semi-finals against Terashima, which is like one of the best players in the province.
Yeah, he's a pitcher, correct? He's also a pitcher.
Yeah, he also the pictures. Yes.
Yeah. I remember in episode 21, I think.
Yep.
Yes, in episode 21, there is a scene where Terashima, he's leaving the stadium.
Yep.
Having just watched Meisei's game, I think.
Yep.
Or perhaps he's just finished pitching his own game.
No.
And he says when... Yeah, go ahead. Help me.
Sorry.
Remember.
Yeah. So he just watching one of these Meisei, I think quarterfinal games, where
That's
in
right.
the last pitch, Kazuya, throwing the
He throws a slider or
Yep.
a hook of some kind.
instead of
and then instead of a fastball.
Yep.
And then he says, what does he say?
All right. He said that if that were missed in the last game, I will throw it straight.
Right. And he goes one step further and says that when I play you guys, I'm only going to throw fastballs.
That's right.
Which obviously, is meant to insult them and hurt their pride because Terashima's like a godlike baseball prospect. So obviously he has an arsenal of pitches. Like he doesn't just throw heat. But he says that's all I need to beat you. And I thought that scene was really effective. Less effective, I thought, was the scene near the end when Kazuya and Tatsuya are watching Saijo's practice, and they're like forced to sit in the dugout and watch as Terashima like yells at his own teammates, and in some cases he hits them with the baseballs, like he throws beanballs at them.
It's just intimidating, and I don't get why he would do that, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's definitely for intimidation. But the thing is, it works because Kazuya is kind of freaked out about it.
Yeah.
But he's only hurting his own teammates. Like he's damaging his chances of success by doing this.
Yep. And
I just think that him saying and like kind of one-upping Kazuya by saying, "Oh, I would have thrown a fastball in that situation. And by the way, that's all I'm going to throw against you because your team isn't shit." That's all the intimidation you need, in my eyes.
Yep.
But they really wanted to drive it home, I guess.
Yeah. One thing that I really appreciate is that they bring Terashima sister back. I miss her for a while. And
Yeah,
she back with
Tomoko.
Tomoko, and she back with with
With
more
her
fun
terrible
time
cooking.
with Harada. Oh, I love Harada.
Right.
He's a real pro.
Yeah, he's certainly that. Yeah, her cooking being so terrible and Harada eating it without complaining.
Yeah.
He's I mean, what a guy. He's he doesn't even seem to be particularly interested in Tomoko, but he doesn't want to hurt her feelings. So he eats the food and he also like berates Tatsuya for trying to sneak out of there early or being uninterested in her story.
Yeah.
The story of her parents and how she came to be an orphan and how she settled down with her uncle.
Yeah.
Tatsuya is just like, well, I don't really care. And Harada is like, he continually like hits him or steps on his foot with his like, what are those Japanese wooden sandals called? Do you know the name for them? The what?
The wooden sandal. No.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some term, but yeah, he steps on those sandals. Have got to hurt, dude, because they're blocky. There's got to be corners on them that will mess your foot up. But he's considerate. Like he thinks about other people's feelings, even though he's such a big giant dude, which is a character type you would assume would just be like all physical, no mental, but he's sensitive.
Yep.
And so we get this because he convinces Tatsuya to like stay and listen, I guess, or to pay attention. We get the story of what happened to Tomoko's parents. They died in a car crash. Is that?
Yeah.
Am I remembering that correctly?
They died of something. I don't even recall how they died.
Okay.
Car crash would be a bit too cliche.
Well, we are talking about Touch here, where people die in car crashes.
Yeah.
That's just what they do. As a matter of fact, in episode 25, Tatsuya, on his way back from the hospital, almost gets hit by a car.
Yeah.
A big truck.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And he almost hit one as well when he was in the taxi.
Yep.
Not he was the one who drive, but you know.
Yeah. Just the danger, the general danger that cars pose. You gotta figure like this happened to Adachi, somebody that he knew, probably a family member, died in a car crash, and now it's all over his entire body of work. Like in a series where a character dies as a result of a car crash, he can't help but put other close shaves with cars into his story.
In Cross Game, I remember she not dying because of the car crash.
How did she die in Cross Game?
I think she saved someone from
drowning.
From drowning, and she drowned herself.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yep. All right, something like that happened. We will talk about that later on. Just not concentrating on like the match beforehand, because I actually I have thought beforehand that the challenge between Kazuya and Terashima will end up as a lose for Kazuya, but it doesn't end up to be that case.
Right. Yeah.
So,
he
wins. Wrong. Yep, he wins.
Yeah, that was episodes 22 and 23 that that detailed what happened in that game.
Yep.
And they were mostly baseball episodes, although there was an amusing running B plot where Tatsuya was back at Southwind, the cafe,
Yeah.
with those two Saijo alumni who were
I
like getting into it with him
yeah.
and being like, turn on the TV. You know, this Kazuya guy, he's just a young upstart. There's no way that he gets a hit off
Yeah.
Terashima and making fun of Meisei and all that. And Tatsuya's, of course, he's just like a little scoundrel.
Yep.
He can't let any of those comments go. He always has to retaliate in some way. That
Oh,
was really fun.
I love the way that he pretend not to listen to the TV and read in the newspaper, and then realize that he read it that upside down.
Yeah.
Oh god, I love that. On the way that these two boys just keep ordering and he keep forgetting the orders.
Right. He would probably do that even if he weren't thinking about the game. He's just
Yeah.
not particularly into his part-time job.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We got a lot of episodes left for him to become a little bit more responsible.
Yeah. So I remember like it's not that relevant in this episode, but like the one before that, Tatsuya doesn't really want to come to the stadium to cheer for Kazuya and Minami. I think just purely because he feel a bit conflicted about that, about having having Kazuya, who's the one who carry on with Minami dreams.
Yeah, he doesn't like to be compared to his brother, and he
Yep.
doesn't like to interfere in whatever it is that Kazuya and Minami have going on.
Yep.
He kind of sees himself as an outsider, and in fact, he positions himself as an outsider. Like he deliberately does not mess with his brother's like shot with the girl that he loves.
Yep.
Although I think at this point in the story, like Tatsuya has picked up on the fact that he's the one that Minami prefers.
Yep.
And that's probably part of that, and in fact that's what motivates him not to interfere or get involved or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
The scene, I can't remember what episode it is now. We passed it weeks ago, but whatever episode it was when Minami like gives him a kiss
Yep.
when he's in bed. Like you
Yep.
have to figure that in 99% of relationships, the girl that you like does that, takes that step for you essentially, and you're just like off to the races. It's on. Like let's go.
Yep.
But he doesn't do that because he can't take Minami away from his brother. That's how he thinks about it.
And we have some little scene between Minami and Kazuya as well. Like when Kazuya was influenced by Terashima. Minami just came to the room and take the pictures.
Right. That was back in episode 21. That was interesting. I wasn't sure exactly what to make of the fact that she did that.
She doesn't want to worry him with her dream. Like she doesn't want to burden him basically, because Kazuya is like like really really thought that he couldn't do it.
Right. Well, he was freaked out by what he saw at Terashima's practice, I guess. I kind of got the sense that was the way the script was constructed. Like he was freaked out by that, and so he started to doubt himself. But Minami's response to his doubt, like to take away the motivation,
the latest,
to take away one of his main sources of motivation to get to the Koshien. It's almost as though she was like daring him to find the strength to do it all on his own without her help, saying that if you really want to accomplish this, you have to do it as an individual and not just for my sake. And I think I can't remember exactly how episode 21 proceeds, like at the very end there, but I think that once he says something like to the effect of I can do this, or you're right, that's when she gives it back.
Yeah.
Am I correct in that? Or
he said, "Your dream is my dream. I
Right.
will, I will go to the ocean. It's my dream." So she happy to give that back to him. So yeah, that whole point, the whole thing wasn't that clear to me. Like
Yeah, because even the
nobody.
phrase "your dream is my dream" is
Yep.
still wrapping her up in the whole
Yep.
thing.
Yep. 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 Yep.
But in the end, that may be the reason that she prefers Tatsuya, is that he is like, he's self-possessed. He's his own person.
Yep.
Whereas Kazuya is so duty-bound to take someone else along to the Koshien with him. And she
Yeah.
wants somebody who, even if he's like a pervert and
Pervert.
not particularly bright, and yeah, I mean, he's definitely a pervert, dude. Do you remember that in the early episodes when they were looking at girls changing with the binoculars on the roof of the school?
Well, you remember that one scene where Miami changed clothes in the inside the room, and he actually like yell out, so that she doesn't like under
Was that was that the very
before.
first episode?
Yeah,
That was one of the really early ones.
yeah, it's one of the really early ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's not that pervert.
Yes, he is. I think the point is that, like, based on the way he's depicted, he's a teenage boy and thus a pervert. Like, that's just how that she views teenage guys. And not all teenage guys are like that, but a lot of them are.
Yeah, yeah, all right.
It's a chemical thing, your body is freaking out.
Yep. All right.
Good
so,
times.
So when it comes to those scene and the trips and the letters, like afterward, Miyami also said to Tatsuya that when Kazuya achieved her dream, she wished for other dreams.
Yes.
No, Tatsuya
That was
had to
that's all the
fulfill
way
other
forward to
one.
episode 24.
Yeah, that's right. 23, 24, 24.
Definitely
Yep.
24. Yeah.
Yep. And
Yes, that episode 24 is where things get really complicated. I mean, they already were because of the scene with the cards, where they're betting Minami
yep.
as like she's going to be the prize for whoever wins the card game or whatever. And she's already given a kiss to Tatsuya, and Kazuya has already like held her from behind.
Yeah.
So we've already got the typical love triangle complications, but episode 24 is where you realize that Kazuya just has absolutely no shot. It's not even it's just an open and shut case. Like Minami says, and after Kazuya fulfills my first dream, it'll be up to you, Tatsuya, to make my other dream come true. And then he asks his mom, what does a typical high school girl hold as a typical dream? And she's like, well, to get married.
Yep. That might not be the case, but
well,
yes.
yeah, this is anime and set in the 80s and a rom-com to boot.
And Kazuya actually pushed forward on his feeling to Minami as well.
Yeah.
And
He
Tatsuya
proposes
actually
to her for goodness sakes.
And Tatsuya actually, for the first time, I think, forefront about his feeling with Minami.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think everyone is on a good track, and actually Kazuya is comfortable with that, from what we see.
Comfortable with what?
With the way that Tatsuya announcing that like he will be in the running now.
Oh yes, at the very end when he says, "Koreyori, play ball."
Yep.
Yeah. But that he doesn't know what Tatsuya said to Minami about like
He did. Like I think Tatsuya yelled out to Minami, when he swing the when he swing the bat. And,
at night, right outside of the
night.
study room.
And Tatsuya overhear everything.
He did?
He did.
No,
he
we
did
get a
say
shot
that.
of Tatsuya standing outside the door, having heard what happened with Minami and Kazuya.
Yep.
But I don't think we get a shot of Kazuya having overheard what happens with Tatsuya and Minami.
All right. remember like Tatsuya when he's swinging the bats,
Mm-hmm.
tell Minami that like he will like train himself, doing everything, like make more effort to like to be, uh, I think to be with her,
Well,
and
he specifically says that he wants to become the sort of man who she deserves,
yep,
and someone who will stack up favorably against Kazuya, so that other people can
yep.
be persuaded.
All right, that's
Like, because he's
that's a
still
good way to put it.
conscious. He's still conscious of other people's, thoughts that Mina. Oh, of course, Kazuya is going to end up with Minami. I mean, his own
Yep,
mother says so in this episode. Like,
yep,
Minami is going to marry into our family, and of
yep,
course, you can infer that she means she's going to
yep,
marry Kazuya.
yep.
So
So
Tatsuya is always conscious of that, and he's not confident in himself right now. He's not somebody who he thinks he can stack up to his brother. He's not somebody who deserves. He can't be with Minami because he's not that
yep,
kind of man yet.
yep. And afterward, when he get back to his room, and when he walk up the bed, it's it's Kazuya who say something along the line that like I heard everything you say.
He did? No,
Hello,
I
hello.
don't think so.
Yep.
I mean, I just watched the episode yesterday, and I don't remember him saying anything along those lines.
I
Like
he
that he
said something
overheard.
about like because at that point Tatsuya uh compare Katsuya to something, like that restless man or something, and Katsuya tell Tatsuya that like I'm not that kind of man. That's the remark.
I don't remember what you're talking about exactly. I remember Tatsuya saying, I'm one step ahead of you, right? And Kazuya
Yep,
says, yeah, I know.
yep.
But
So
that's not
before that they have the conversation where Katsuya confirmed that he hear everything because basically Tatsuya just yell out so everyone
oh,
can
your
hear that.
voice is too loud. He does
Yep, the
say
voice
something
is
about
too
your
loud.
voice is too.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know if that means he heard everything, but yeah, you do. Yeah, you did
I
say
I
that. Damn, dude,
I would say that
imagine
he
being
everything.
Kazuya in that situation.
But he pretty cool about that. That's the really like good characters out of him.
Yeah, he is cool about it.
He act
He doesn't lose his composure.
Yeah, he actually like I think he more happy for Tatsuya to be like this than like folding out the card when he had the winning hands like before. So
Right.
I think
Yeah,
that's
he
the one
wants to
thing that
compete
he doesn't
openly
like.
and
Yep,
fairly
yep,
with
that's
his
right.
brother. Yeah. But the thing is, he's going to lose.
Oh God.
And as a matter of fact, he doesn't even get the chance to lose
Yep,
because
yep.
he passes away. It's
Oh
just
God. All right, let's get to episode 25 now
no, hold up.
because
We can't. We have to talk about we can't. We have to talk about the scene where Kazuya proposes to Minami, and
oh
like,
yeah, yep,
she's like taken aback. She's not receptive to the idea, and he's
yep,
like, oh, maybe I guess I really jumped the gun, huh? Maybe we can talk about this some other time, and then he approaches her,
yep.
and she
Try to
has
kiss
that
him.
little what's that little? It's like a stuffed animal. Is it a bear?
A bear, right? A bear.
That scene was so brutal, dude. It was so real because like when he reaches up and like puts his hand on her cheek
Yep,
or behind her head, whatever he's doing in preparation to kiss her, she like you can hear her suck in a breath like, and
yep,
she starts to cry.
yep,
It's dude, the power of I that scene overpowered me. Like it was so raw.
yep,
Because she understands how much Kazuya likes her,
yep,
and she has felt the weight of other people's expectations that she will be with him, and so she probably feels guilty that she
yep.
doesn't feel the same way for him. So when she starts to cry like that, those are like tears of shame.
Yep. Well,
She feels as though she's doing something wrong, because her heart's not fluttering or skipping a beat or anything. She just feels like she realizes that she's gonna just be a disappointment to him.
yep.
And so he has to kiss her on the forehead instead. It's just so you like that scene makes you understand. You know, you're thinking about it in terms of, oh, who's going to win, like who's going to get the girl. But her response in that moment when the tears like spring to her eyes and she like takes a small step back and her breath hitches, you realize that she's almost a victim in all of this.
Yep, yep. That exactly it. I think she's, like everyone just push their feeling into her, and not even considering what she feel.
Yeah.
So even like on the the duel between playing cap between the two brothers, like whoever win will get married her. So it's not consider her feeling at all.
Yeah.
So like in a way, yes, it's hard, and in a way that I think Katsuya is jumping the gun as well, because he still hasn't achieved her dream yet.
Yeah. Well,
There's still a
the
final
thing is,
match.
yeah, the thing is, like these are his honest feelings for her.
Yep,
Like
true.
and it's not as though he's like he's he's not doing anything wrong.
Yep.
He just has the misfortune of being in love with a girl who is not in love with him.
Ah.
And Minami has the misfortune of being loved by a man who she doesn't love.
Yep. Yep.
It's straight up tragedy. Like that's the building blocks of tragedy right there. Like two people who are they just don't feel the same way at their core, and that they can't be reconciled to each other, and yet they're constantly in each other's lives and in each other's orbits.
Yep.
So it's that much more devastating that Kazuya dies, because he dies with losing the opportunity to ever like gain Minami's favor, and he dies so quickly after a pretty heartbreaking rejection.
Yeah. Actually, I think that comes. Minami hasn't said anything, hasn't respond to anything. So I would say that it's one kind of rejection, but because she hasn't said something straight to his face, that may be something that Minami will hold on, while grieving to his loss. That's something that she should have said to him before he died.
Absolutely, yes. I'm sure that will the fact that somebody who loved her died will haunt her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right, let's come to episode 25, because I would say that the show take a very unusual approach to this. It taking very long.
Yes.
A
lot of long takes, a lot of slow pans.
Yep.
A lot of scenes of just characters walking, cicadas.
That's right.
Crying, the sun beating down.
Yep.
Like
for great effect, actually.
I just loved it. Like I can't. Man, imagine, but like watching it as a Japanese person.
Yep.
And having real life experience walking down the sorts of streets that Tatsuya was walking on.
Yep.
And experiencing the summer, the Japanese summer where the cicadas are crying like that. Mm. Having like nostalgic memories attached to those sort of stimuli, and then getting hit with them in this episode. And you realize based on, that the episode provides tons and tons of clues that Kazuya has died, but getting hit with it and then seeing all the stuff that you yourself have experienced and felt in your life on screen.
Yep.
Man.
I feel that the best thing the show does is how Tatsuya react. Because he just fell out of it. He just doesn't, all the feeling of Kazuya have been dying. He still hasn't progressed that. So he's still,
in shock.
Yeah, he still carry on everything just like normal. he doesn't really have any like attached to all the event happen to him. Like he like normally people would cry, but he doesn't because he still hasn't processed that yet.
Yeah.
He still come to the stadium to see the game, but to also to get the parents to the hospital. So yeah,
It's only to get the parent to the hospital. He doesn't
Yeah.
care about the game anymore.
Yeah.
Once he gets to the,
Jeez.
I mean, at a certain point when he's at the hospital
Yep.
and he's watching the game on TV in that waiting room
Yep.
outside the OR, the game is all that he cares about in the
Yep.
entire world, because he's rooting for Meisei because he's doing that in place of Kazuya.
Yep.
Kazuya can't be there. He
Yep.
can't contribute to his team's victory. He can't even root for his team to win. So Tatsuya has put that on his shoulders
Yep.
and is like desperate for Meisei to win and is making like critical comments to people on a screen who can't hear him. Like, what are you guys doing? We're gonna lose at this rate. He's just,
Yeah, exactly.
And think about it. He didn't even want to go to the stadium and watch the game in the past because he didn't. He felt as though that was Kazuya's space, and he didn't want to intrude on that. And now, as Kazuya is in the OR dying on a surgeon's table, the only thing he can do is cheer for the team that's missing him.
Yep, true. And
the scene where the doctor approaches him and the show cuts out all the audio and it's just silent.
Yep.
And Kazuya, like, you don't get a shot of Kazuya like whipping his head around really fast with a bug-eyed expression on his face and like trembling lips and water in his eyes. He slowly turns his head with like an innocent expression on his face, like a childlike expression.
Yep.
When he hears the doctor talk to him.
Yep.
That really messed me up.
Yeah, that scene was really good. Even later on when you see the parents, the father and mother, like usually very cheerful and like a comic relief. They just they just stone. They just there, And I think that's like the sort of reaction so real that like when you hear someone suddenly dies, you're not preparing for it at all. You can't cry. You do that.
Yeah.
So
you it's not real to you yet.
Yep.
You haven't processed it yet.
So I do think that the show, I don't remember this episode on episode 26 where I have to watch because like I can end the week like that in episode 25. So so I watch also like some of the time the show does little bit go overboard, and I think the overboard is nothing compared to these scenes where like it's just so sad, it's just so great, like you say, and like it hit really hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure, like every shot in episode 25, it really does hit home. Like all those long takes, man. And I mean, you maybe if you're not familiar with Adachi's work, you can watch the beginning of episode 25 where Kazuya runs out the door and into the blaring sunlight with the cicadas crying, and there's a fade to white.
Yep.
I knew as soon as I watched that he was dead.
Yep.
Because walking through the door, obviously symbolic of moving on to the next stage.
Yep.
The next whatever it is you believe in, the next stage of life or the afterlife.
Yep.
But even if you weren't familiar with Adachi's work, or even with that metaphor, the door as a metaphor for crossing over into another realm or another place, or the whiteout, even if you didn't know any of that, there are so many clues that are given to us before we realize that he's dead. Like Tatsuya walking, he walks. What is he doing? He's taking the charm, the omomori, to his brother for protection, and that's dude. It's not a good luck charm. It's a protection charm.
Jeez, yes.
And he dies without it.
Yeah.
So that thought has to have crossed Tatsuya's mind or his mother's mind. Can you imagine what his mother? She must be like blaming herself. Like if I had just given this, if I hadn't forgotten and had just given this charm to my son, he would have been protected. Like thoughts like that must be swirling around in her head. It just makes it that much worse that it's a protection charm. But he's walking on the street and he walks by a crowd of people looking across the street at a truck. And he turns and looks at them for a second, but he doesn't really pay them too much mind. He just keeps walking. The thought occurred to me that he may have realized on some level even then that Kazuya was dead. And he just pushed that thought so away so quickly and so far that he just kept operating as though he was alive. And he went to the school looking for him and stuff. Like he may have even done that because he was so desperate for it not to be true.
And even though that when Kazuya was in the CPU, the hospital, there's no telling that he might be dead either. Like it. From what they heard, it's a small injuries. It just it's not something that shows.
Well, I think you're referring to information that we get in episode 26.
Oh shit! All right.
Which is fine. I've seen it, but I didn't review it for this.
Yeah.
There's no talk about the nature of his injury in episode 25. In fact, you don't even see Kazuya at all.
Jeez. Yep. I just feel like like even though that Kazuya in the CPU, the thought of Kazuya dying never crossed his mind. That's what I feel.
You mean it never crossed Tatsuya's mind?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he couldn't allow himself to think it.
Yeah. Oh God. This one is hard.
I know.
Not like a traditional sense, like if they go like all crying or like if they show more, it wouldn't have been that devastating than this one.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be Adachi anymore.
Yeah. So
he wouldn't be telling the story without telling the story by omitting like the most important details or the most important visuals and just letting your mind fill in those gaps.
Yeah. So
that's what makes it. I think that's probably what makes it so hard to watch is that
that's right.
this portrayal invites the viewer to bring their own experience to it, their own experience with death, because the show isn't feeding you every single image of Kazuya's death. You can fill it in yourself.
Yep.
And it's that's why it sucks so much.
Yep. All right. How can we there's still like 75 more episodes.
I know.
Yep. Oh, I do believe that the saddest part is over now. So
the saddest part is over, huh? Yeah. Oh, I would definitely say episodes 25 and 26 are the saddest episodes in the entire show. But there's I've seen the whole thing at this point.
Yep.
And there's plenty of pain to come.
Oh God! All right.
Nothing on this level, but Tatsuya is gonna go through it.
Yeah, I'm ready to embrace the pain, man.
I mean, this episode is just like, this is commonly referred to as one of the best, like the all-time great anime episodes.
Really?
I see it. Yeah, I see it brought up in discussions of that sort of thing all the time, like on image boards and stuff. I think this is probably the episode that makes Touch legendary. Obviously the general story is strong, and that's why it's resonated with people in Japan for so long. But this, I seriously think this episode is, I wouldn't call it like a masterwork necessarily, but every shot just feels so intentional.
Yep. Yep. I
Like
agree
all
with that.
the images of street signs with like conflicting messages are kind of representative of the fact that Tatsuya like he's not even feeling, like he doesn't know what to feel.
Yep.
Because they're like, you'll see clusters of street signs where like one says stop, one says 30 kilometers an hour,
Yep.
one says railroad crossing. You know, they don't give like a clear message, which is exactly the way Tatsuya feels, probably completely like emotionally scattered and unable to center himself.
Yep.
Because his best friend, his emotional center,
Yep.
is gone forever. And
Yep.
like flashing red lights, like stoplights, and even when we get shots of the stadium where this game is being played, I mean, first of all, I have to say I love the decision to linger at the stadium for so long and like bask in the confusion of people wondering like, why is Kazuya not here?
Yep. Yep.
And during that whole time, we don't know what Tatsuya is doing. We don't know how he gets to the hospital.
Yep.
In fact, when we eventually cut to the hospital, there's like a very, very slow pan down the outside, the exterior of the hospital building. And then there's a shot of the hallway, a slow movement through the hallway before we cut to Tatsuya inside watching the game on the TV. Like, the show takes its time even then. It's not gonna, try to punch you in the gut. Instead, it's going to poison you and make you suffer as you're watching the episode. It's like methodical about it. Even the shots of the stadium, the flags at the top of the stadium, the wind is not blowing. Mm-hmm. The flags are completely still. And I would bet, I didn't go back and look, but I would bet that in past episodes, when we get a shot of the stadium where the camera is focusing up high and you can see the flags, I bet the wind is blowing and the flags are moving. But in this episode, nothing.
Yep.
It's just like the world has like
Completely
nature
stopped.
itself has died. Yes.
Yep. Oh,
and the
God.
cicada's crying too, dude. Like it's like they're all crying for Kazuya.
And imagine starting the day like your every day, like doing normal activities, going on your normal street, and like experience something like that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's episode so hard.
He walks by all the people looking across the street at the truck, and not knowing or not accepting what's going on, whatever the case may be. And then he gets to the school, Kazuya's not there, and he has to walk back.
Yep.
And that you assume is when like he sees it for the second time, and only then does he truly understand what's happened. And we don't see how he first comes to the realization that his brother is hurt or dead. We don't see it happen.
Yep. Oh God.
That's like, man, I can't imagine writing like storyboarding this episode and excluding that scene.
I can imagine like how Akechi, did it, like he have the specific thought of his mind and he just do it.
Yeah.
That prop to him, man.
Yeah, he knows what buttons to push.
Yep. Not what I expect for for an episode, for a game changing episodes, but it all for the more powerful effect.
Yeah, and I mean, because it has to be powerful because it has to resonate for 75 more episodes. 76, I guess, because it has 101, I think.
Yep, true.
You gotta keep it in the audience's mind.
Yep.
So they can understand that everything from this point forward, everything that Tatsuya does, everything Minami does, everything that Kazuya's parents do, his teammates, like, it's all under the shadow of Kazuya's death. because he was the hope of Meisei. Like he was gonna take them to the Koshien.
Yep.
He was gonna he was like the savior of the story. He was the hero.
Yep.
And now he's gone, and Tatsuya has to become the hero.
Yep.
So that weight is gonna press down on him as well.
Yep. All right.
So this episode had to leave a big impact, so we can feel that. For imagine watching it live. 101 episodes is basically 2 years every week.
Yep.
So you gotta create an episode so powerful that it will shock a nation in order for the next year and a half of broadcasts to strike the appropriate tone.
I still think that it doesn't necessarily come out nowhere. So people who watch the anime, I think, know the event from the manga before. I'm not really sure in the manga. Yeah, in the manga was, I think, published in 85. Or
the TV show is 85, so the Touch manga was in the early 80s.
82, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, Adachi is a huge mangaka in Japan, so plenty of people already knew what was coming. Yes, but I mean, with any adaptation into a new, mode of presentation, you're going to be picking up a new audience.
Yeah, I just imagine that people who read the manga for the first time during that time, how shocked or how, like how they think about this, how they gonna feel.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
I mean, the manga is, as well as I think the anime, as good a job as I think the anime did, because it can take advantage of the fact that you can hold on a still image for a long period of time and the audience is locked in there with you.
Yep.
They can't just turn the page of the comic book.
Yep.
I can still imagine something like this being pulled off really well in a manga, because you can dedicate like pages and pages and pages to Tatsuya just walking and walking. You can stretch out the panels. You can make the panels longer, like horizontally, or you can make them stretch really long vertically.
Yep.
Because Japanese people write both ways. They write vertically in some cases and horizontally in other cases.
Yep.
So either direction would probably have like a major impact, and just the long stretches of silence and. I imagine that it probably really struck people in comic book form as well.
All right. Yeah, it's really popular manga. So yeah, one of the best-selling manga series actually.
Yeah. I don't know any like facts or figures, but I've always heard Touch one of the most watched anime ever. One of the best-selling sports manga ever, and now we have experienced why.
Yep.
But there's plenty more. There's plenty left to experience.
That's right.
76 more episodes.
All right. Yep. I think let's call it.
Call it there.
Yep.
So next time we do this is going to be in 2 weeks, and we'll come back with like a full-fledged podcast episode.
Yep.
Talking about the fall season so far. I don't know what shows we'll discuss in particular. We'll do more Touch as well, but I don't know what shows we'll discuss in particular. Fall shows, definitely Heike Monogatari and Aosama Ranking, I have to imagine, and then maybe one or two others.
Right. It's got to be up to you.
Well, I'm not watching much. This is right now. I'm watching the fewest seasonal anime at a time that I have in years. I'm watching only 3 shows right now.
Are you still watching Komi-san?
Yeah, that's the 3rd.
Yep.
I've only seen 2 episodes because I'm waiting for NovaWorks subs every week. But it's just those 3. We got Touch though. And we got movies over on Triple Cross Cinema. We got all sorts of stuff going on.
That's right.
So,
all right. All right. So we will see you back in 2 weeks for more anime. So stay tuned, and we will talk more about Touch then.
See you then.